if you're seeing this message, there's something very specific that you want out of life that at the moment you feel like you can't have. Whether it's financial blocks or whatever current circumstance that you're in, whether it's where you live, a certain job that you have, responsibilities, there's like an overall dream that you want to have that you feel like you can't get to at this time. And if you're familiar with my readings, you most likely do shadow work. But if this is new to you, then this is what is going to be introduced in this reading. What you are being guided to do at this point in time is write down all of your goals, those things that feel impossible, but are just calling to you. That, you know, whenever you have a moment of free time in your own energy, those things kind of like, I don't even want to say whisper because they're actually pretty loud. It's like whenever you're scrolling on social media, you see things that remind you of this thing that you want to do. It's like everywhere you go, there are little signs of what you could be doing, but you're not doing. And it's not to say that your life is bad at the moment, it's just not what it could be. Because there's a part of you that is keeping you from that. Because everything that we dream about is destined for us. So what you're being guided to do at this time, so this 10 of Embers and 3 of Birds is like the 10 of Wands and the 3 of Swords. So you feel like you're carrying a lot of weights on you right now, and there's some heartbreak because you feel like these burdens are the reason that you can't have what it is that you want to have. So you're really being guided right now to write down what it is that you want. And when you write down what it is that you want, then you're going to write down all of the reasons why you can't have it. And this is where your shadow work begins. And I know that a lot of people will say that immediately after you write down the things that you want, you need to turn it into a positive. And obviously do what you want to do, because everyone's practice is different and everyone's practice is what works for them. But I say just marinate with it for a little bit and see what comes up for you. Because in this world, 7 of Birds. I'm gonna get into this in just a second. In this world, like I like to see, I've always thought of this world as like God or creator, as an artist, because like as a little girl, like looking around in this world and seeing how beautiful it is, I said like there's no way that this creative being that put all of us here, whatever that is, didn't have some kind of artistic eye to create so much beauty, and everything is done like so perfectly, you know, where there's like a Fibonacci sequence and everything. Everything it has like such an immaculate touch to it. Even the things that don't make sense and even the things that hurt. And obviously as I've gotten older, because you know, you start to realize like how dark and dismal this world can be, and then you realize that, you know, art usually comes from a place of pain. 9 of Birds coming out. Yep, from a place of pain, and that in order for this beauty to exist, it had to come from someone or something's pain. So it doesn't surprise me anymore that this world is a dark place, because beauty tends to stem from things like that. But anyway, I've always seen this creator being as a bit of an author. And I don't know much about the Akashic records, but I'm still going to say what I'm going to say because I know that they're both like libraries. That I've always kind of seen this world as a library, and each individual is like a single novel on the shelf. And each one of us is our own specific story. And if you like to read, or maybe you don't, maybe you like watching shows, but what kind of media do you like to consume? You know, do you like horror stories? Do you like romance? Do you like suspense? Do you like fantasy? You know, what is it that you really enjoy? Because that's going to tell you a little bit about your story. And where each of us is like our own special novel. Whatever it is that you like to write, I mean, whatever it is that you like to read or write, that could be specific for some of you. There is, whatever makes a good book is conflict. You can't have a story at all without conflict. So all this goes to say, this is kind of a long-winded way for me to say, when you go back to whatever it is that's blocking you, all the reasons that you can't have it, I want you to understand that these pain points are your conflict. And maybe for some of you, if you're like me, you tend to go about things in a logical way. It all depends on what's in your chart, or who you are. Maybe you don't. But you will look at all these things and see all the logical reasons why you can't have the things that you desire. And what you're going to do now, this is where like the time has come to marinate. You're gonna affirm that you can have these things, and then next to so these are like columns. If this is something you want to do, and you're going to affirm that you can have these things, and then next to that, you're going to take one action step that you can do right now that would bring you closer to your goals, even if you don't have the money to be doing what you want to do, even if you're not in the right environment. What is it that you can do today? And maybe for some of you, it's just affirming that you can have this thing. With this Seven of Birds, now to get into the rest of these cards here, this Seven of Birds speaks to having like a planned sort of action as to what you're going to go about doing. And I'm getting that this is what's going to come. This Nine of Birds is kind of like a despair. It's like the Nine of Swords card, where you're very much in like this anxious, heavy energy, and that this plan is kind of gonna form after you write down all the reasons that you can't have what it is that you want. And this is actually, I think it's an interesting card because it's kind of a saving you from yourself. That all the things, like the birds are attacking this person here, but this person's gonna go off the ledge and it keeps focusing so hard on what it wants. So it's you're focusing so hard on all the reasons like that you can't have it, that you may be hitting a lot of obstacles, and these obstacles are actually saving you from yourself. This Six of Birds is like the Six of Swords card, and it's leaving a current situation to go to a better one, but it's like a divine intervention sort of thing. That there's a plane going down in this card. This deck is a little darker, which I like about it. And again, the art is beautiful, which ties into that earlier message. But it's that if it feels like you're spiraling or like you'll never be able to do what you want to do, the divine is actually carefully orchestrating this. This is part of your story. And that you need to kind of go with what's happening. Work with what you already have and trust that you're being divinely led out of this situation towards what you want. That the whole point is to focus on what it is that you want and how you can, I mentioned this in a previous reading, is how you can make yourself a success every single day. Not in the eyes of society, but in your heart of what you want to do. What makes you a success? And I want to sort of tie back to that earlier message about the art and this world being a library of novels, is that, some people are like the fluffy, like good reads, like things make sense and it's like a comfort book and it feels good. Other people are like horror stories where things kind of go really wrong before things go really right. And other people are kind of like fantasy novels where it's like if you spoke your truth about what your life truly is, if you were completely open, honest, and vulnerable with everyone about like how your life has actually gone, no one would believe you. And if you're part of my collective, you may be sort of towards the latter. And this is sort of what's happening, is that you kind of have to trust that even if it's not making any sense, like something's going to pull through for you. And this is confirmed at the end here with this Four of Trees, which is like the Four of Wands card, which is a big like celebration, happy energy, and that like a firm foundation and stability that's going to grow from this. So trust that like all of this is kind of like these despair, tough energy. Trust that you're being led to what it is that you want to do, and that your new beginning is on the horizon. And if this resonates with you, do that shadow work and work through what it is, because this is your conflict at this time, and that conflict is always the catalyst to growth. So trust that this conflict is here because you have those end goals in mind, that conflict is actually what's going to take you towards your end goal. If this resonates with you, let me know. If you'd like your own personal reading with me, you can head to the link at the top of my page. It's in my Etsy shop.